If you recently registered a domain name and then purchased hosting for your new website through HostGator, you'll need to know how to get around inside HostGator's Customer Portal and cPanel to effectively use it. That's what we'll be covering in this video. So let's do this. Okay, welcome back, or welcome if this is the first video that you are seeing in this series. This is video 4, getting to know HostGator's Customer Portal and cPanel. I'm Kevin Stryker with TRU LIFT Digital Marketing, and this video is part of a video series titled How to Easily Create a Web Presence for Your Business, even if you have zero technical skills. In video 2, we registered a domain name with Namecheap, and in the last video, video 3, we set up your web hosting with HostGator. Now that your web hosting is set up, let's get familiar with how to utilize it to get your web presence established. And that means getting familiar with the two sections of the HostGator hosting plan, your customer portal and your cPanel, by doing a quick walkthrough of each. We'll make logging in a little bit easier for you by changing some passwords. We'll talk briefly about your file manager and the importance of your name servers. And then I'll show you how you can set up your email account on your new domain. To start, as alluded to earlier, and in the title of this video, it's important to note that there are two different sections to your HostGator hosting plan. The first of which is your customer portal, which is where your personal information and billing information resides. And the second is the cPanel, short for control panel, which is where your website files and data exist. Why two different sections? Naturally, it would be easier if both sections were combined in the same place, as you would only need one login and so forth. But the reason for the deliberate separation between the two is for instances where you may have a web developer, business partner, or perhaps someone else in your office, etc., that you want to give access to your web data in cPanel, perhaps to make changes to your website, for example, but you don't want to allow them access to your personal information and billing history. This is accomplished through one-way integration, meaning that if you are logged into your customer portal, you can perform many of the tasks from the cPanel. But if you or someone else is logged into the cPanel, you or they will not be able to access information in the customer portal without the appropriate login information at least. The really good thing, if you are the main person in your business, is that now pretty much all of what you will do can be done from the customer portal by linking to the cPanel from it, whereas before you would have had to spend much more time directly logged into the control panel. What I'm talking about will be a lot clearer as we go through each specifically. Let's first go back to the two emails that you should have received from HostGator as soon as you finish the last step in the web hosting setup process in the last video. The first thing I want to mention is to make sure that you keep these two emails, as well as the Namecheap emails, in a place where you know where to find them. If you use Gmail or an email client like Outlook, etc., you may want to tag them somehow, or set up a separate folder for all of your website logins, or even print off the emails and keep them in a physical folder. If you've downloaded the Web Presence Password Tracker from one of our previous videos, I'll show you in a moment which items inside those emails I think you should copy to your password tracker. And if you haven't watched any of those previous videos yet, and you don't know what I'm talking about when I talk about Password Tracker, there is a link on your screen right now to a video explaining what it is and how it may help you if you are following along in this series. There is also a link to download your own version if you want one. I think it could be quite helpful in keeping all your website information in one place. Okay, back to the HostGator emails. To start, let's log into the customer portal and the cPanel and take a quick look around. If you still have your screen open from the last video, you don't need to log in again, but I'll show you how anyway for the next time that you do have to. Go to your email client, in my case here Gmail, and open up the email titled "Thank you for choosing HostGator." Just click on that one to open it up. This email contains your login information for the customer portal. I've boxed in the items in green that I think are important and should be kept safe somewhere, i.e. your password tracker if you have one. All three of these can be found in the HostGator Customer Portal section of the password tracker. If you want, take a second to pause this video and transfer those to your password tracker or whatever means you're using to save them now. You'll notice that the password that HostGator has given you is an auto-generated password, which they do for greater security, but that password can be kind of hard to remember, not to mention sometimes it's even hard to tell what it is. Sometimes a Q looks like a G, and an L like the number 1, and a 0 like an O, and so forth. So I always change those out, and we'll do that in just a second. Okay, so commit the email address you used to sign up with here to your temporary memory. By that I mean in your head, not your computer's memory. And then highlight the password and hit Control-C to copy it to your clipboard if you are a PC user, or Command-C if you are a Mac user, and then click the HostGator Billing Portal link above. Now before I hit that link, I briefly want to add that if you ever log in the future by just typing in the direct URL for your customer portal, make sure that you add HTTPS rather than just HTTP, or you won't get where you want to go. I know I'm getting pretty granular or nitpicky with some of this stuff, but a lot of the frustration that you may encounter comes from little things like this. And I want for you to have as much of, if not a complete, frustration-free experience as possible. Okay, now I'll click the link. That will load up the login screen for the HostGator Customer Portal. So just enter in your email address and then click on the password field and enter either Control-V for PC or Command-V for Mac, which will paste the password that you have saved in your clipboard, and then click Login. It will load up the Customer Portal. I want to also load up the cPanel into one of the tabs on my browser so we can work inside both of them. But while we're in here, let me do a very quick walkthrough of your Customer Portal. You'll notice across the top are 5 tabs: My Account, Billing, Hosting, Domains, and Support. And inside each of those tabs is a top bar showing what sections are available inside of those tabs, and then the area below shows you details of what is inside each of those sections. The first 2 tabs, My Account and Billing, are Customer Portal specific, meaning that you cannot access these sections from inside of your cPanel. This, as I mentioned earlier, allows you to keep your account-specific personal information private while still being able to allow others access to your cPanel to work on your website for you. As you can see, we're currently in the My Account tab, and specifically the Account Summary section, which gives you access to your account data, including your package ID and stats, and other packages if you have them. Here you can also access any current or past invoices for your personal business bookkeeping. Your profile contains your personal contact information, settings we will get to later in this video to change out your password. Email is just the email address that you have on file with HostGator should they need to contact you. Packages is where you can manage multiple hosting packages if you have them, and Add Packages allows you to add additional hosting for other sites, etc. Inside of the Billing tab, you have all things billing, like your history, the option to make a payment. You can manage the cards that you have on file, view account credits, and if you are set up to pay via PayPal, those agreements can be found in that section. I'll skip the Hosting tab for just a second. The Domains tab is where you can transfer domains registered elsewhere to HostGator, where you can register new domains if you wish, and manage existing domains. And then Support is where you can manage your ticket history, reach out to support, add or remove an email account relating to support, and request migration services, which is an opportunity for you to have HostGator do some of the behind-the-scenes work, moving hosting over from another provider, for example, usually for a fee, although not always. Hosting is where you can directly access the majority of the features of your cPanel. We will talk about those in just a bit. Again, feel free to look around in here at all the tabs and so forth. It really is a well put together central hub, and much improved from the old days. Okay, before we go any further in your customer portal for now, let's log directly into your cPanel and get it loaded into a new tab. Now I just want to add here that, like I previously mentioned with the one-way integration between the customer portal and cPanel, since you are already logged into your customer portal, you are in essence already also logged into your cPanel. Meaning that from this customer portal, you can access many, almost all, except for the more technical stuff in your cPanel, without having to directly log into your cPanel. So unless you want to do some more, let's say, higher level tech stuff, you really don't need to separately log into your cPanel. So why am I going to log into it separately? I still think it is important to take a look at the cPanel separately to understand what it does and does not share with your customer portal. So if you allow access to your cPanel to someone in your business or perhaps a third-party web developer, etc., you are familiar and comfortable with what they can see and do inside of there. Does that make sense? To do that, go back to your email client, get out of the previous email, and click on the email titled hostgator.com:youraccount.info. For me, and perhaps for you, this can be a little confusing. The top link is just another way to get to the login screen for the customer portal, which we already went to in the last email. So you can copy the alternate URL to your password tracker if you want. In the HostGator Customer Portal section, I've got a spot in there under HostGator Billing Portal Alternate. But other than saving that URL, let's ignore it for now. This email contains some very important information which we'll need in the next video, video 5, to point your domain name to your hosting, which is the first and second name servers here. These 2 name servers can also be found in your cPanel, which I'll show you in just a second. If you don't know what those are, don't worry. I'll be showing you how to use them in the next video. Boxed in green are the items that I would suggest you put in your password tracker. Feel free to pause this video now to transfer them over to the HostGator cPanel section, but if you are not using the password tracker, then make sure you keep this email handy somewhere. To log into the cPanel, just highlight the password and copy it by either hitting Ctrl-C or Command-C. Make a mental note of your username in case you forgot which one you used, and then click on the link here for your control panel. This will open a new tab for your control panel. Enter your username and then paste your password, Control-V or Command-V, and click Login. I'll just close this pop-up here. Remember I said earlier that websites frequently change their UIs or user interfaces of their website's front end, or the part that you, as the visitor, see? Well, from the time that I initially shot this video to the time that I finished editing it, HostGator rolled out a major refresh of their cPanel UI. So what you're seeing here is the new user interface, or at least new as of the time of the release of this video. It was quite a major update, so the screen you see here should be fairly unchanged for quite a while. And the good news is that it's a very solid improvement over the legacy version. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is because I'm trying to make this video series a true case study, meaning that I don't want to just tell you what you need to do, but rather actually do it myself in real life so that you can see on your own screen, if not exactly what is on mine, then pretty close. I just think that would be more helpful for you. So what you are seeing on my screen for the next few seconds might not be exactly the same greeting that you get when you log into your cPanel, as it is what I saw when I logged in using the old version. You may see this pop up here, which is a website builder that HostGator offers, which is a drag and drop interface with templates, etc. that you can use to create your website. If you want to use that or learn more, just click on the Learn More. If you join me for video 10, I'm going to talk about and show you how you can access thousands of themes if you're interested. For me, I'm just going to close this. And then you may see a screen asking you if you need help to get started. Now for you, if you want, certainly feel free to click the Get Started Now button and follow along. There are also video tutorials that you can check out to help you set up your cPanel. And if you want this message to stop showing next time you log in, you can just check this box here. But for me, for now, I'm okay, so I'll just click the No Thanks button here to close it. Now back to the current user interface. You may see some form of pop-up upsell, like the one on your screen right now, offering you a line of credit through Cabbage. I'll just exit out of that for now as well. So here we are inside the Control Panel, or cPanel. This is the interface anyone whom you give access to will see when they log into your cPanel. Obviously there's a lot going on in here, and unless you are a bit more tech savvy, like I said earlier, you can access 85% of this material from your customer portal, so you really don't need to come here too often. If you give access to your cPanel to someone else, it is likely because they are more tech savvy than yourself and know how to get around here in the cPanel. So I will not spend a lot of time here other than to quickly show you around to understand what is and isn't here. Before I go any further, I'll just point out that if you want HostGator to walk you through various sections in here, just bring up this Walk Me Through panel and follow along. What is not in here? There is no personal information of you or your account with HostGator. Giving someone access to the cPanel does not give them access to your account. In here is just stuff specifically related to your website, which I guess is personal too, but I think you know what I mean. When first logged in, you will be inside this main section of the Websites tab. The popular links will be located at the top for convenience, the ones HostGator believes you will use the most often, so you don't have to search for them below. And then each sub-tab under Websites on the left corresponds to a section of icons on the right as you scroll down, which I will scroll through in just a moment. Underneath Websites, you have Service Info, Domains, Website Add-ons, and Help. The Domains tab is not related to your current domain, since if you've been following this video series from the beginning, you would have gotten from Namecheap, but rather it is an opportunity for you to buy a domain from HostGator, so I'll leave that closed. Feel free to check it out if you wish. Website add-ons are just services that you can purchase for your website, like HostGator Site Builder, themes, plugins, and various professional services. I'll let you peruse that on your own if you wish as well. Just a heads up, in this video series I'll be walking you through plugin install in video 8 and theme install in video 10. And Help is pretty self-explanatory. There you will find a support portal, live chat, and various tools for your content management system, or CMS. If you stick with me in this video series, I'll talk about CMSs, and in particular how to install WordPress on your website in video 6. Before I walk you through the Websites tab, let's just quickly jump into the Services Info tab. As you can see, this contains some info on your traffic, number of add-on domains and subdomains, any backups you have had performed, email, resource usage, databases, etc. But I just wanted to draw your attention to this DNS info section and point out that here are those name servers that I spoke about earlier. Like I keep saying, these name servers are very important, especially for the step we will cover in the next video, video 5. So if you somehow lose them, but you still have access to your control panel or cPanel, you can find them in here. Let's wrap this up by quickly going through the Websites tab. I talked about the popular links, which can also be found below. The Essentials section contains icons and links to these specific areas, including your Google AdWords and Bing credits, etc., all of which, with the exception of the free yp.com listing, can also be found in your customer portal. I'll just click back to that tab, either on the top bar of Hosting or inside of the Special Offers section under the Hosting tab. Going back to the cPanel, all of the icons inside of Files can be found back in your customer portal under the Hosting tab inside of Files and Folders. One icon in the cPanel that I do want to quickly highlight is the File Manager, as it is the holder of all of your back-end website data. Let's just click in there to show you what I mean. There is a hierarchy of folders, subfolders within those folders, that house the guts of your website. Yours may not look exactly like this yet, as I had to reshoot this video after adding some data to my website due to the cPanel refresh that HostGator did, but you still get the idea. If you engage a web developer or third party to handle the back end of your website, then you may not ever even need to come in here, but it's still good to know about it and how it works, at least at a basic level. At the top is my root or home directory within HostGator, and below it are folders that you can open by clicking the plus sign beside them to display more folders or data within them. Clicking on the same folder in the view on the right will accomplish the same thing, albeit with a little bit of a different view. The main data of your site that you may be interested in is found in the public HTML folder. I'll just quickly get inside of mine. Now, what you see here may not make sense until you see videos 5, 6, 9, and 11 of this video series, but if you want to see where the content of my site is and where yours will be, just click on the WP Content, which reveals the backups I have performed, plugins I have installed, themes and uploads like images, PDFs, etc. Don't worry, you don't have to add any of this stuff manually. Most of the add-on programs and plugins that you will be adding to your website will store their respective data in here for you automatically when you download them. In video 8, when we were dealing with plugins, in particular backing up data with a specific plugin, I will bring you back in here to show you how to manually back up your automated backup, if that makes sense, to a hard drive for some added security. What you are seeing here is like seeing into the future of your website a bit, because as I mentioned, I'll show you how to add all of this stuff to your website in the upcoming videos. If you have been following the steps of the Web Presence Checklist, which you can download if you haven't already from the link in the top right of your screen or in the description area, and this video series, your file manager will look more like this video clip I originally shot for this video of what mine looked like before I had any content at all on my site, with basically nothing inside of the public HTML folder. Okay, I'll stop there for now. I just wanted to point this section out because it's a very important one. I'll just close this extra tab that I just opened. The Databases section and Domain section of the cPanel can be found in the Customer Portal in the most popular links of the Hosting tab, Manage Databases, and in the Domains tab in the top bar of the Hosting tab here, respectively. The Email section of cPanel, with the exception of Calendars and Contacts, can be found in the Control panel under the Hosting tab in the top bar labeled Email. Don't be confused with the email icon in the My Account tab, which is just related to the email of yours that HostGator can use to get a hold of you. And lastly, this Metrics section of cPanel can be found in the Customer Portal under the Hosting tab on the top bar, Website Traffic. Security, Software, and Advanced in cPanel, I'm pretty sure, at least at the time of filming this video, with the exception of Quick Install, can only be found by directly logging into the cPanel, which I think makes sense, as it is likely only the more tech-savvy that will want to use them anyway. And then lastly, the Preferences tab at the bottom allow you to change the look of your cPanel in terms of style or language, and then allows you to change your passwords and security settings for cPanel, including whom you allow access to as a user. That's about all I wanted to point out in cPanel. I still want to roll up the sleeves a bit very quickly and make some practical changes to both the Customer Portal and the cPanel. But since all of that can be done inside of the Customer Portal, I'm just going to log out of the cPanel for now and show you how the Customer Portal can access the cPanel directly. If you are flying through this and eating up this material in this video series, awesome. You'll be rolling out your new web presence shortly. If by chance, however, you are feeling a bit overwhelmed or feel that you don't understand how to do all of this and what all of this is for, don't worry. Knowing what everything is and how to use it is not an overnight thing. In fact, there's no need to know everything in order to move forward and establish your web presence. A general understanding of the big picture, which is what I'm trying to accomplish in this video, combined with a better understanding of some specific areas that you can focus on and implement right away, is all that you should be looking for. That is why I developed this video series, to show you what things are important to focus on right now and how to use them. If you follow this series, especially if you're following along with the steps of your web presence checklist, you will end up with a very strong outline and understanding of what to do to get your site up and running and your social presence established so that you can generate more revenue and more profit. Enjoy the process. If you are frustrated or feeling lost, just go back to your checklist and keep moving forward. If you haven't downloaded your web presence checklist yet, just click the link on your screen right now to open up a link to that checklist. It will allow you to see not only where you're at, but where you still need to go. Okay, back to the customer portal for a short bit before moving on to the next video. Whenever I start a new website or web presence for a brand, etc., I have an order that I like to do things that I think is good so that I don't put the cart before the horse and have to go back and redo stuff. The first thing I like to do is to change my password, because those auto-generated ones like the ones HostGator generated for me and you make me crazy. To change your customer portal password, first either go to your password tracker and copy the auto-generated password that you saved under the HostGator Customer Portal section, or go back to the thank you email again. That's this one here, thank you for choosing HostGator, and copy the password into your clipboard. Just highlight the password and Command-C on Mac or Control-C on PC to copy that. And then we're going to go back to the tab that says HostGator Billing Support, which is your customer portal. Inside of the first tab, My Account, we're going to click on the gear icon here for settings. We will arrive in the first tab that says Create a New Password, and you will just go to the field beside Current Password and paste your current password there by clicking on the field and either typing Command-V or Control-V. Then you're going to come up with a new password of your choosing, and as soon as you click on the field, HostGator will give you the minimum requirements and recommended requirements to follow, and as you type, it will show you how strong your password is. I'll enter one in here for myself. It's apparently great on strength. I'll scroll down, and then I have to repeat the password to ensure that I didn't misspell it. And click Change Password. And here it says your password has been updated. I'm just going to close out this pop-up from my browser asking me if I want to save my password. Now if you are using the password tracker, I would suggest that you open that up now and copy your new password in the section titled HostGator Customer Portal under New Password. Now the reason that I have included a field for that, as opposed to just copying it over the last password, is just as a bit of a safety precaution in case the password change doesn't work correctly. If you log out and log back in, and your new password opens up your customer portal as it's supposed to, you can delete the original password from your password tracker. I'm perhaps a little overcautious, but I guess it just comes from making a lot of mistakes that I want to help you avoid. And if you wanted to change your PIN as well, either now or in the future, this is where you can do that. Then there is some EU stuff if you're from Europe and have a VAT. So now that you have your customer portal password changed, let's do the same with the cPanel. You don't have to get your old one, and you don't even have to leave the customer portal. Just go back up to the top and click on the Hosting tab. Then just scroll down to the most popular links section and click on Reset cPanel Password. Now basically do the last two steps that you did to change your customer portal password. Just enter a new password in the first field and then again in the second field to confirm it. Now you could just use the same password that you used in the customer portal, but that kind of defeats the purpose of having the two separate systems. When you are done, just click Change Password. I'll just close this pop-up. And there you go. Password update successful. You can now log into your cPanel with the new password. And again, if you're using the password tracker, as a reminder, just open it up now and copy the cPanel password in the HostGator cPanel section beside New Password. If you log out and log back in successfully, then you can delete the original auto-generated password. Of course, you can just keep the auto-generated passwords if you want and either memorize them or copy and paste them when you're logging in, or even let your browser save them for you if you're comfortable with doing that. It's your hosting account. I just thought I'd offer you a suggestion that helps me with the hopes that it helps you as well. And then the next thing I want to show you how to do is create a new email account for your new domain name, in my case, kevin@trueliftdigital.com. This is an email that I can use, or you can use in your instance, in the contact section of your website or on business cards if you're going to print them. It looks a little more professional, obviously, than kevin@gmail.com or trueliftdigital@gmail.com or something like that. I can also set up separate accounts for other people that I might work with at my company or for different department areas, like support@trueliftdigital.com, so that I can separate all emails that I receive that are support related, or info@trueliftdigital.com if I want to provide that email address to visitors that have questions, and separate those or perhaps hand them off to someone else, either in my business or an outsourced person, etc. To create a new email account, you can either access it directly from your cPanel, or you can access it from your customer portal, and that can connect to your cPanel. For ease, and to hopefully confuse you less, rather than show you how to do it both ways, I'm just going to show you how to do it through the customer portal. Either way, to do that, I don't want the email button in my account, like I said before, as that email is my HostGator account related email. I have to go back to the hosting tab in the customer portal, which is really just connecting, like I said, to my cPanel. I'll scroll down to the most popular links again and click on email accounts. That opens up a separate tab in the control panel. Just enter the name that you want added to your domain as an email. For example, I want kevin@trueliftdigital.com, so in the first field I'll just put Kevin. Then enter a password for that email and confirm that password. It will tell you the strength of your password. Then you can modify your mailbox quota if you want. I'm happy to keep mine at 500 megabytes. You've got another shot if you want to upgrade to professional Gmail. I'll just click Create Account. Now, because I created this email address using the previous version of HostGator's UI, I'll just show you the confirmation I got using the old interface, which will be very similar to the confirmation you will receive. And there you go. Confirmation that your account is created and what email address you just registered. Then, if you want, you can basically go back up to the top and enter in the name of other people in your company or info or support for various departments you intend on having, following the same procedure. Once you've created the email addresses you want, you can always come back here to change the passwords of your emails, change the quota, delete it if you no longer need it or use it. Under the More tab, you can suspend the email account or the login of it, suspend incoming email, access webmail, manage external authentication, and even configure calendars and contacts. But the area that I think is most interesting, if you have just created an email account, is setting up a mail client to view your emails on, instead of having to access webmail in your cPanel. To do that, click on Set Up Mail Client, which will take you to a screen where you can try to automatically configure with your mail client and operating system. And if that fails, they tell you how you can do it manually down here. If you do want to do any of these configurations, there are videos on HostGator support to walk you through the process. I'm just going to close this tab. Okay, that was a bit of a longer video, but one that I feel is very important. In this video, you learned about the two sections of the HostGator hosting plan, your customer portal and your cPanel, why they are separate, and how to log into each of them. We took a walkthrough of each to introduce you to the respective interfaces and where you might find different sections you are looking for. You learned what each of them shares with each other and or perhaps doesn't share, and how to change your passwords for each section. We took a quick look at the file manager in your cPanel, which, as I mentioned, houses the guts, if you will, of your website where your data is saved. We talked briefly about the importance of your name servers that we will need for a very important step in the next video, and we walked through how to create a new email account on your new domain. In the next video, we will see how to complete the very important step of pointing your domain name to your hosting account to ensure that your new web address is connected with the data on your website so that your visitors can find your site. I'll also show you how to add a new domain to your hosting plan, in addition to the one that you have, and then show you how to redirect a visitor from one domain to the other. There will be a link to all of the resources that I mentioned in this video in the description below this video if you're watching on YouTube. Do you have a question on anything from the video? Did you learn anything from it, or can you think of something that stood out to you? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked the video and want to see more from us on this topic and others to help your business in the area of digital marketing, why not subscribe to our channel by clicking the link on your screen right now to get notified when we put out new content. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to jump to video 5 right now, click the link on your screen. I'll see you over there.